When you think about money and the movies, I guess you have to think about the Star Wars phenomenon. Now, I have an admission to make, and I say this with all respect to everyone who loves Star Wars. I understand that. For me, it's kind of like you've seen one, you've seen them all. But they sure put a lot of effort into them, and I did see the new one, and the main difference was that they had well, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but it was very familiar, the whole thing. Let me just leave it at that. $1 billion the opening weekend? $1 billion. And here we're talking about Larry Nichols needing, a couple thousand maybe. It just makes you sick. How many people listening right now are on hard times and could use a little of that $1 billion? But that industry was created by Jews. It's their industry. They have much to be proud of. It's a phenomenal industry. They own the entertainment industry. They made it. How the Jews invented Hollywood. Read the book by Neil Gabler. He's a Jew film critic. Very smart man. They know how to get the money, even in bad times, from the masses of Goyim. And create entertainment. Very smart. Remember in the 1930s, during the terrible lean years, what was thriving in the 30s? The 5 and 10 cent movie houses. During the Depression, the movie houses had it locked. No TV then, of course. But when things get tough, people want to escape. A lot of them escape through liquor, drugs, pharmaceuticals, but the movies are always there. Now it's Netflix at home and you name it. Up this hour with us to talk about the Force and other things, Ronnie Mcmullen, who is well known to all of you by now. Ronnie always has an interesting take on many parses of our society, and we're going to talk about Star Wars tonight, among other things. Hello, Ronnie. Welcome back.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. You're too close to your mic, or we'll turn you down there. Don't worry about it. I'm okay.
All right. Are you doing good?
Yeah, I'm all right, but you're still he's over-modulating, Todd. Maybe you can turn him down. Or back off your telephone or something. Let's see.
Okay, how about now?
Oh, much better. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, we're fine here. It's 2016, and when I started this program, I guess we're in our 23rd year now. Never thought about these days and how much has happened, what's happened to our country in just 2 decades. Can we go back? No, we really can't go backwards. We have to go forwards, but we have to go forwards in a different direction than the controllers want us to go. We have to go forward into a direction that leads us to the kinds of values that we had.
Yeah.
They'll be modernized, they'll be different, but the golden rule is the seat of Christian religion. And we have to hold on to that. And I speak on behalf of a lot of people who may be agnostic, maybe atheists, it doesn't matter. We'd all like to be treated in decent and kind ways. Do unto others. It's kind of a universal. Doesn't need to have a brand name on it. Anyway, tell us what's up, friend.
Well, I just thought it'd be fun to talk about one of the hot topics right now, obviously being Star Wars. Star Wars, has such a following, probably of any movie out
cult.
there.
It's a cult.
It almost, Star Trekkies. I mean, that was big, but Star Wars beats them out. And so I just thought it was interesting how obviously this new Star Wars is really Disney. And, we all supposedly love Disney, even Walt Disney.
Well, Disney is now Zionist, so we got to remember that. It's not Walt.
It's not Walt. No, it's not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. And it was interesting because I was looking at an interview with George Lucas, and he's really not happy. I mean, I'm sure he's happy about the money, but he's really, from what I could pick up, he was really not happy about the Disney deal. They didn't really want him on board. They wanted his name, they wanted his power, but they really didn't want him to direct and go the direction of the movies. And I thought that was an interesting aspect.
That is, yeah.
And he said some kind of tough things, turned around and had to retract. So, he had to make Disney look good, I guess. But it was really interesting. I thought, because I don't know, did you go see the movie, Jeff?
I did.
And what was your take?
Remember Spielberg's Super 8?
Yes.
About 10 times better. Love Super 8, a real movie you could get engrossed in. Just a fabulous journey, a cinematic trip. Just great film. Super 8. If you folks want to see a fantastic film, there it is. Super 8. Go check it out or rent it, whatever.
So what'd you think of Star Wars?
I don't want to ruin anybody's fun. I was kind of bored, frankly. I mean, I'd seen it all before. How many times can you repaint things and have people buy into it as being brand new, exciting? It was just a bigger Death Star in the end. That's all it was. And
here's the wild thing, because a lot of people are so into Star Wars that they kind of, don't worry about it. It was a great movie. It was wonderful. And they kind of come against the people that say, hey, I think I had some disappointment in the movie.
No, you're not allowed to do that. You lose friends that way.
No opinions. No, you got to go with the flow. Well, I guess I don't go with the flow because I found it very disappointing. And I thought to myself, this is something I've really looked forward to, especially, if you're a spiritual guy, or a spiritual gal, the Force Awakens, you're thinking this is going to be, little Yoda's not around, but something's going to happen to where there's going to be something that awakens you. This was not an awakening. The only thing that I saw is take the money to the bank.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, you go into Target, and I thought I was in Star Wars movie set. I mean, it was nothing but Star Wars.
Well,
Star
the
Wars
commercialization level was enough to drown in. It was disgusting, just everywhere and everything. And it was all sold for licensing fees, all money. It's all about money. The only thing, I'm with you on that, obviously.
And I think it's sad because, and then on top of that, if you watch the movie with real eyes, you can kind of see not only, yes, they're retelling the story for about the third time, and, I don't know, this is the seventh one, I think. So you figure for the third time they're telling the same story. It's like, how many times do we have to, and we just change the characters and we change the face a little bit, and maybe we change this Dunes to another Dunes and rename it, and we'll just get by and get another $1 billion or
same old junky, I don't know what they call them, the little fighter things that they were flying around in. Same stuff.
They didn't. No new ships. No. So, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, everybody wants some of the old stuff, and that's cool. But here's the thing: I think we're being played for a fool. That's
really? You think Jewish Hollywood would do that to us, Goyim?
Oh no, not them. But it's and I think here's the thing that's really interesting is for me is the little hints of what they were saying in the movie. If you look for them, if you look at Snoke, which is the bad guy, what's he look like? It's interesting. It looks like an alien. And if you look at the stormtroopers when they're all meeting, they're meeting it's almost the same scenery as Hitler. How he was up on the stand and all the troops were looking at him. And
it's a fascist message, of course, sure.
Yeah, and then they had to throw up their hand just like in the days of Hitler. So what are they saying? And here's the thing that I really kind of caught off guard was the new names. We have. It's not the Galactic. It's the First Order. It
sounds a little bit like the New World Order to me.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like the New World? Then it's the First Order, and actually, it gets kind of muddy waters because sometimes it's referred to as the New Order, and the First Order, the New Order. So all we have to add is world, and we have New World Order.
Right.
We have Hitler with the stormtroopers. And, of course, they're dressed in white, but that's the illusion. The illusion is white. It's good.
Black is white, up is down, war is peace.
Absolutely. So I thought that was interesting to see. And then, of course, the good guys, are called the resistance. So in other words, for you to be a good guy, you have to resist, which that makes sense. And isn't that where we are today? Is a resistance of what they are doing. Obama's pushing for gun control. He's pushing hard because he's only got what has he got, another 10, 12 months left? And so he's going to push harder than he's ever pushed. So he can get gun control, so he can get all the stuff that he needs to get done and wipe us out, and just in case they don't get Hillary to take the position. And I think with Hillary taking the position, we're doomed.
We're done. Oh, no, that's the end of America, period. Done. No question.
And I think Frank Zappa said it good. He said, the illusion of freedom will continue for as long as it's profitable to continue the illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, it will take down the scenery, move the tables and chairs out of the way, and then they will pull back the curtains and you will see the brick wall at the back of the theater.
He was so smart. Why do we have to lose these people? We lost Zappa, who was making noises like he was going to become a real political commentator, at least. We lost George Carlin. You can go with a lot of people we keep losing. We don't have that many. Go ahead.
Well, I just think it's interesting, and did Frank Zappa know the industry? Sure he did.
Frank knew a lot more than anyone would ever guess. My brother was a very good friend of his, and we used to talk about that. The man was a genius.
I think it's, the key is they want us, and I call it balance. They want us, we'll call ourselves the resistance. They want the resistance to come out of balance.
Right.
In other words, to get crazy, to go up to Oregon and make a big, protest.
Oh, absolutely.
If they can get us to do things like that, and they want us to protest, and they want us to be in the streets with our rifles and everything else, so they can use all their new toys, all the new fandangle toys to take care of us. That's what they want. They want us out of balance. And once they get us out of balance, they can do what they want. The resistance really needs to not be out of balance. We need to be waiting and quiet and waiting instead of showing our colors, because it's pretty easy to find you when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, they've got Predator drones standing by with Hellfire missiles. They got Apache attack helicopters right now standing by. Trust me, they'll just go in and take those people out. And the media, of course, will call them the worst names in the book, and no one will mourn them. It'll be another slaughter like Waco. And
it will, but here's my thoughts, and I'm sure that a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with this, but, I'm going to go there anyway. I don't think there's enough of they and them to take care of us.
Because if we're organized, agreed.
There are going to be people that are in places that are supposed to annihilate us, and they're going to be called by order, by the first order. They're going to be called by order to annihilate us, and they're not going to. I believe that's coming. So when they get ready to pull the trigger, there's going to be a lot of empty chambers. And I think Bruce Lee said it well. He said, the enemy has only images and illusions behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy. So as long as we're moving in the fear that they can take us out with all of this stuff, and they can, but there's just not enough of them to annihilate us. The resistance is actually much bigger than the so-called Death Star. I believe that.
We will find out soon enough. I do just hope these folks wrap it up and go home to live to fight another day. They're right where the masters of life and death, our controllers, want them right now. Right now. And we can't afford to take a loss like that. Just remember Oklahoma City, how the word patriot became the dirtiest word in the English language almost overnight. Can't allow that to happen. This is not the right place, not the right time to make the kind of stand that they're talking about. The Hammonds are in prison. 5 years. Obviously set up. Obvious. And they've got to appeal somehow. I don't know how they'll do it. They actually did give an announcement to the public 2 days ago that they wanted nothing to do with the militia up there. Now, maybe they were doing that for reasons of their own self-concern. I don't know, but that's what they did say. So, we'll see. We will see. We'll see too soon, unfortunately. But believe me, the plans have all been made. The government knows exactly what it's going to do, incrementally. They'll give them a deadline next, and if they don't meet the deadline, they don't have to get anywhere near the place. They can do it all with Predator drones. And the building, by the way, was unoccupied. Remember that. It was locked up. It was just, there's no government employees there. They'll just build a new building. No big deal. Okay, anything else on Star Wars and the lack of generally good movies from Hollywood? Although I do hear good things about Joy. That's supposed to be very good. Did we lose Ronnie? I think we did. Doggone it. Well, we'll try and get him back. Now, next hour, I don't want you to miss our Monday Fukushima report. Yoichi Shimatsu, Yoshi will be here, and he just flew across the Pacific, and I've got a question for him. How does it feel to fly across an ocean and look down on it, the North Pacific, knowing what he knows, that it's dead? Whales dying, baby whales especially, starving to death, washing up on the West Coast. So we'll talk about that next hour. All right, where you been?
I must have been saying something because I got cut off.
You're on a different phone now.
Yeah, different line. Hope I sound clear.
Yeah, you're all right. No problem. Okay, anything else to add about Star Wars? It's the ultimate self-aggrandizing money-making orgy. That's the way I look at it. The only, I don't know, one of the primary characters was killed in the film. I'm not going to spoil it, but you always think in science fiction, anything can happen. That person could come back in the next one as an energy field, okay? Remember, the body doesn't die. That's the universal message. So he'll come back in the next film, three-dimensional, holographic, but it'll be a spirit form. I mean, that's one way to solve that. So time will tell.
I don't think that we're in a situation here on Earth. You know, everybody, it's like we so quickly try to grab to our 100 years of life here on this Earth, and really it's just like a year of school. I think we move on, and there's better things ahead.
Well, let's hope so. Oh.
Why want to stay with this 100 years of pain and agony here and, you know, have people like Barack Obama?
Oh, my God, it's getting worse all the time. Everybody could see that.
Well, anybody that has any maturity, meaning age, they've seen what the world has done and where it's going, and they really don't want to be a part of it. They're like, you know, it's not the way it used to be, you know? I mean, there's a company called Old Guys Rule that they made a fortune because it was the way it was, not the way it is, the way it was. So they're all looking back at the old times saying, hey, this is when it was good. Okay, this is when music was good. This is when cars were good. This is when everything was good. Love was good. But now, what do we have? We have movies of doom and gloom all the time, pushing fear. We have, you know, Obama trying to take our guns. You know, I mean, good God. We have mass shootings everywhere, which are all MK-based, you know, and we're supposed to just believe that they're just all unstable people. Come on, you know, just look up some CIA entries and you'll understand. So I just think it's kind of interesting that we're all trying to hold on to this, you know, 100 years of life, and it's really, I think it's about crossing over, and there's something much, much better on the other side.
Yes, but the point is, we're here now, and we need to make this as good as we can, and we're not doing that. The forces of the other side, the real force, the dark force, are trying to make it as bad as it gets. So we have work to do here. And how we're judged on the work we do, I don't know. If we're judged, I don't know.
Also, I think it's interesting also that they've got so many different directions that they're attacking us. I mean, we can see that they want gun control. They can see they're taking our freedoms away, but most of the time it's not addressed what they're doing to our food supply, our water supply, our air. We don't talk about those things.
I used to do a monthly program with Jeffrey Smith. I was the only program he'd do. And he contributed so much to this program in terms of understanding GMO, what it does. They used to do tests with litters of rats, and I think it was something like 57% of the baby rats died on GMO foods as a diet, and the rest of them that survived, 43%, never achieved full, robust physical size or function, and many of them had illnesses and weaknesses. This is just GMO corn, and it's not good, folks, not good at all. And as I said while you were away, next hour, Yoshi Shimatsu will be here, and Yoichi just came across the Pacific Ocean on a flight not too terribly long ago, and I want to ask him what it was like to transit the ocean knowing that the ocean below you is dead. That's pretty grim, pretty grim.
Well, I think that when they're pushing the Monsanto issue and they're changing us, I mean, because if you think about what goes in us, even the Bible talks about the inside of the cup and the outside of the cup. We don't really, as people, we are not trained to take care of the inside of the cup, meaning our inside body, what's functioning on the inside, our digestive system, our brain, our blood system. We're not in that. And this is why more and more people, if you have any surroundings at all, you find out, oh, so-and-so just died, or so-and-so just got sick, so-and-so just got cancer. I mean, it's all the time. You go to a restaurant, and you'll hear, oh, yeah, my son just died, and oh, my father just died, and oh, so-and-so just died, and everybody's being sick, and they are draining us. If you look at healthcare and the Obama healthcare, which is really Hillary taken further, you're looking at a money system. And again, I'll say this. I said this on so many different shows. When you're talking about pharmaceuticals, they don't use the words heal and cure because they don't want those words. FDA will go after you, but they don't want those words being used. And the reason they don't is because if they cure you of whatever, there's no money in cures.
No, there's only money in treatment. Absolutely. Stand by, Ronnie. We have to pause for a couple minutes. We'll come right back. Hang in there, folks, and we shall continue. We're back with Ronnie Mcmullen, who also likes classic cars and all kinds of neat things. Ronnie's background is quite unique. He is very well versed with mind control, mass thought programming, and manipulation, which is what we're seeing all the time. Star Wars is a perfect case in point. I mean, really, how many times, Ronnie, can you repackage the same thing over and over and over again and get away with it? I guess as long as you want. I don't know.
As long as you're Hollywood and as long as you're CIA Hollywood.
Yeah, well, it is that. It's CIA Mossad Hollywood.
And that's fine. I mean, that's great if that's what you want, but I just get tired of being conditioned. I get tired of watching the same thing where you're just nothing but a drone clone and do whatever they want you to do. I'm definitely a part of the resistance. I'm just not a part of the wild resistance that's going to go get caught and thrown in a clink for the first realm. I'm going to be waiting in the background for when they come invade. And if they ever have the what to do that, that's different. But to me, when you're sitting there and jumping out in front of a freight train, that's not my kind of idea.
Well, these poor folks are well-intentioned, and I honor their commitment to the country, to their ideals. But I think if they don't get out of there, they're wasting their lives. It'll be a waste. They're not good. This is not the issue that has captured the imagination of the public. The media has seen to that. A lot of the locals are very disappointed in the way law enforcement is allowing them to get away with this. Well, if you watch the little news conference I have up, it's the top story. You have to go to the 22-minute mark. You'll see by the local sheriff, there's only, 7,000 people in the county, that's all. It's a little tiny county. Geographically not little, but population-wise. They know what they're going to do. But they aren't going to do anything. It'll be the state and federal governments that'll do it. And they'll come in and they'll just wipe those people out. If they have to.
It's all media. It's all a fear tactic. And I just think it's interesting how it's not even interesting. It's actually, it makes me sick to watch how they do what they do. They're good at it. It's truly the TV show. So when you watch a fear-based TV show, you're like, well, I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a good boy. I'm going to be a good girl. That way they don't do that to me. And they can enclose everybody in a prison of their own home very easily that way.
No, they do. Absolutely, they do.
It just, and this is the same way. And if they can get us sick by dispatching their water, I think that's a wild ride in itself. So they do the water issue and they put fluoride in our water. And, I don't know if people really understand the whole fluoride. It's the only medicine added to public water. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? I mean, is anybody seeing this? And we can see what's in the air.
It goes back to World War II, and what fluoride does, it actually neutralizes the part of the brain that is territorial. And it makes you placid, it makes you compliant, and the changes are said to be permanent. Now, there have been a few communities that have voted to defluoridate the water. But I expected that actually to generate a landslide of many communities that are doing that, but it hasn't. It hadn't happened. Not that I've seen.
I don't know if it's laziness or if it's just,
don't know.
Here we're watching a movie that says The Force Awakens, but I'm thinking, well, our energy levels should awaken and say, hey, we don't want this kind of fluoride water. We don't want this aluminum and barium in the air, and we don't want GMOs. So why are we being subject to have to do this? And this is something, and I find it interesting that the so-called runners for president, they're not talking about any of these issues either.
Not yet. There's a year to go, a lot of time to go before the election. So
well, I hope they do, but they're so far disappointing me when they're not going to talk about those issues, because those are the issues of life, and most people don't realize that these GMOs, or we were talking earlier about corn, or what these things do. And this is why, for me, when I get into Life Change Tea, when I get into those products and I talk about those products, I'm very passionate about it, because that's what I call cleaning the inside of the cup. That's what I talk about that will prolong. I mean, if we're going to sit here and so-called fight, whether it's the quiet or we're going to be on the front lines, how do you fight when you're sick? How do you fight when you have cancer? How do you fight when you have no energy, you have, inside your gut's aching? I mean, how do you fight? How do you think straight? You don't. And yet people will go and, I watch, they'll spend $100, $150 for a football ticket to go watch a football game, but, oh no, we're not going to get organic food, or we're not going to take care or get some things that we need to strengthen ourselves. And that's like a boxer saying, oh, I don't need to work out at all before this big fight. I'm just going to just wing it. It'll be okay. That's some of the things I don't understand. And when I watch some of the people that are very involved in going, I want to try different things, and, they'll come to the company and they'll get the tea, or they'll get different things, and they see the difference. They see the energy levels come up. They see, their guts, if they get the colostrum, they see their guts, changing to where all of a sudden, oh my God, hey, I feel better. Well then, now you're alive. Now you can think better. How do you think when you're sick? I mean, I don't know of anybody that's really super spiritual when they're sick. Mm-hmm. Do you?
No, and that's a very interesting point. And there are a lot of people out there who are literally sick all the time because of the great American diet. They literally are sick. Their immune system is being completely consumed with fighting the chemicals, herbicides, and pesticides and GMOs that they're eating. They are the enemy. The immune system should not be used to fight the food that you depend upon to maintain your relative freedom from illness. And here you are, wasting your immune system on the food. I mean, that's really what's happening, and it makes people sick. So most Americans are, in my view, when I see them, they are in a state of illness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have big poster boards in different cities, ER time, and here's your weight. So, I mean, you're like, pretty soon that's going to be put in your mind, well, we really can't go to emergency room because we're going to have to wait 40 minutes. We could die in the emergency room before we ever see a doctor.
Right.
I mean, this is the point of how many people are really sick, and yet people will invest. Oh, the economy is going to die, so we got to invest in precious metals, gold and silver. Okay, I have nothing wrong with that. I think that's fair. But guess what? No one, hardly anyone, only a few very awakened people that truly are awakened by the Force are investing in products that say, hey, I'm going to help myself stay alive, and not just,
No, they don't know, Ronnie. They don't know. The media won't tell them. They don't know. We tell them here. We'll tell them more when we come back. Hang on. Back with Ronnie in just a few. Now, for those of you who know, Ronnie Mcmullen is the man with the tea. I have the tea right here in the studio, right on the desk. I always do. I just made up another batch today. I drink it all the time. It works exactly as it is advertised. I consider it to be an extremely healthful thing to do. And all you have to do is drink it. You don't have to exercise. You don't have to do anything. It's great. So if you're eating things you shouldn't, this will help clean your system out. It also apparently kills parasites. Now, the human body can commonly be found to be host to over 120 different kinds of parasites. A lot of you will say, nah, yeah. And those parasites can manifest themselves in joints, and you'll say, I've got arthritis, when in point of fact, all you have is a parasitic infestation. This is true. And they can be found in the digestive system, in the liver fluid, all kinds of different parasites. So this is a very strong anti-parasite blend, among other things. So we'll do a little education on this, and getthetea.com is the place to get it. And I honestly, I don't know when I started on this. It's got to be about a year ago now. But I really wouldn't want to be without it. It's that good. And it's no joke. Everything on the New Earth page at Rense is, in fact, something that I use. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to really encourage the people, and I want to go back to what I said before the break. When you are very, very ill, let's say you're vomiting and flu and virus or whatever, or one of those nasty colds where you're coughing and hacking in your chest, are you ready to go fight a war? Are you ready to go get the bad guy? And no, you're not. And so as long as we keep eating the foods that they're putting in front of us, okay, as long as we keep going that direction and we're not taking supplements, we're not taking the tea, we're not doing whatever, then there's no way that we're going to be able to be at our best. Our whole spiritual is gone. It's shot because we get very selfish. All we care about is, I just want to get better. I just want to get better. And the thing about that I love about the company of Life Change Tea, and I do love this, is how many people say, you know what, I have tried an array of different products and they don't work. Yours actually works. And for a product to go on our website, I usually will try it myself, and if I don't see a major difference or I don't see the product working, and believe me, if anybody jacked up their body, I did, okay? I've had to pay for it, but I am coming out of all of the garbage that goes with eating the wrong food. For years, I used to drink Coca-Cola, 2, 3, 4, 5 a day. That will kill you.
You did that? You did that?
I did that.
Wow.
I did that.
Fizzy drinks, I don't care what they are they're deadly.
Deadly.
Yeah.
Energy drinks, deadly. Okay? And Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, they don't want you knowing about this. They don't want you knowing how many sugars. 32 to 38 sugars in one 12-ounce can. It's crazy. That's
Wait, it's not. It's that many? Like teaspoon?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was about 10 to 12 teaspoons in one can.
Oh, it's brutal. And then you talk about, that's not even counting the fact that you're sitting in an aluminum can. So all the aluminum and metal particles are
wonderful. It couldn't possibly leach into that acidic liquid, could it?
No, they tested it. They know everything there is to know. No, this is all a setup.
Make you walking into walls after a while. That's what'll happen.
And this goes back to energy drinks. Everybody thinks energy drinks are great. Energy drinks are killing people.
Yeah.
So we need to realize that, and people say, well, I don't like tea. Well, really what we carry, Life Change Tea, is not just a tea. It is a blend of 8 different herbs. And when you're talking about herbs, and when you're talking about medicinal herbs, That's what gets you better. That's what brings your energy level. And a lot of people have tried the tea and they say, God, my energy level has come up. And this is, we carry products that make change, that makes difference. Like we have a special with the 2 teas and a moringa. And a lot of people don't even know what moringa is. It's a tree that's in India. And what that tree does, I mean, if you look at the trees, well, how trees save lives, it's amazing. And yet we sometimes give no regard to the trees. But the moringa tree, if you get its leaves and you do the work that you do to get its nutrients, it increases the natural defenses of the body. It provides nourishment in the eyes and the brain. It promotes the metabolism. It promotes the cell structure of the body, promotes energy, proper digestion.
Well, that's one of India's kind of national treasures, moringa.
Yes, it's much like, Jerusalem and the olive tree. And, I think what we have here in America that's really kind of cool, too, is the pine tree. People don't really realize the benefits of the pine tree. And the other one is that's really a fascinating tree that really does a lot of work for people that have diabetes is the cinnamon tree. And the cinnamon tree is a rocker as well. So if you look at the trees that are trying to save our lives and all we're doing is covering concrete, you got to start questioning things. You got to say, what's going on here? And when you look at moringa, gram for gram, 7 times the vitamins of vitamin C in oranges, 4 times the vitamin A in carrots, 4 times the calcium in milk, lactose, 3 times the potassium in bananas, and 2 times the protein in yogurt. That is what moringa. So you want to talk about a powerhouse.
What's the form? What format does it come in?
It comes in a capsule, and it comes 1,200 milligrams. Life Change Tea Moringa will change your life, and obviously Life Change Tea will change your life. That's probably why it's called Life Change Tea.
Yeah.
So this is something, when I look at all the people that have tried, Rense listeners have come back and said, wow, thank you for this product. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm sure they would. They'd tell you.
Yeah, they do this. And this is, this makes the job really worthwhile when you go, oh my gosh, somebody is going, hey, thank you for this because it worked. And this is what happened. I mean, there's some people that have weight gain, and they're like, I can't get rid of this to save my life. And believe it or not, the tea will actually help you lose a little bit of weight. It's not an ongoing thing because what it's doing is cleaning your colon. But for some people that have maybe 30 or 40 pounds of extra weight, it will slim you down if you've never tried Life Change Tea. It will actually start slimming you down. And when you take like a fat burner, which removes the fat around the liver, which is a really important issue, then again, more weight loss. So this is something that, you look at taking care of the inside of the cup. And here's the other thing. I really want to say this because people need to know this. For those of you that get colds and flus and viruses and all that kind of stuff, and every year, I mean, in my area, so many people are sick. I'm not sick. Okay? Why is that? Because when you're on the tea, very rarely will you get viruses, colds, and everything else because it's cleaning you of all the garbage, of all the toxins. And here's another one that most people don't know, is sugar is toxic. It is actually toxic.
It's a terrible toxin. Oh, yeah. Do you know the average 5-year-old child eats his or her body weight in sugar every year? Every year?
Look at the obesity that's taking place.
Oh, of course. They look like little bowling balls. If they fall down, they'll roll. They can't run. They waddle like ducks.
Can you imagine if there was a war and we had to have a lot of our young guys? Most young guys can't run a mile. They can't because they're carrying 30, 40, 50, sometimes 80, 90.
I know. It's really sickening. It's awful.
It is, and it's really not the kids' fault. It's our generation.
No, it's their whole milieu. What choice do they have? Well, first of all, they don't know better. Secondly, where else can they go? I saw a story last week. The first all-organic fast food restaurant in America has opened. And I didn't look it up, doggone it. But I hope it spreads and goes national. It should. There's enough awareness now to make it extremely possible.
I think the awareness is picking up definitely in the food industry. We're not there yet. I mean, I always tell people, if you want to kick Monsanto's butt, buy organic, because they're not into organic. They're into changing, and think about this, and this is something that people don't know. There's a pine tree that's sitting in California, Nevada, that's over 5,000 years old. 5,000. So for those people that follow Christ, guess what? That tree was here before Christ. 5,000 years old, right?
Yeah, like 3,000 years before Christ.
Right. So here's the interesting thing about it. People might say, oh, that's just kind of cool, just cool. Well, there is some properties in that tree that are very valuable because that tree, for 5,000 years, has withstood cataclysmic issues, weather, disease, you name it, it's withstood it, and it's still living. So tell me what that tree is worth. And that's what Monsanto doesn't want. They want to produce a tomato that sprouts you some weird type of taste, pops, dies, and then you got to go buy more seed. It's all about the cash flow. But it goes one deeper than just cash flow. I think, and this goes back to Genesis 6, I think they're genetically trying to change us, change our DNA format, change our RNA so that we are completely different. Why they want to do that, I'm not sure, but they don't want us to be what we are today. They're changing it, and they're changing it by DNA. So we are not going to withstand anything. And it's tragic. I think it's tragic. And, of course, our ERs, if you look at construction's with the urgent cares in the hospital. That's where our construction is. If we didn't have all the urgent cares in the hospitals being built right now, construction workers would be sitting home having coffee and donuts a little more often.
Something wrong with coffee and donuts, Ronnie?
Too many donuts is a tough deal, and coffee is okay. I think anything is not too bad as long as it's in a balance. But when I was doing my 5 and 6 Cokes a day, I'm sorry, there's no balance there. And when you look at the properties that are in chips or in Cokes or in energy drinks, Twinkies and different cakes and cookies and all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. It's a deadly run. And even for those that say, hey, Ronnie, I eat vegetables. I eat the right stuff. Well, that's good too, except kind of it's not. I'll tell you why.
All right.
Anything that's over 112 to 118 degrees and you cook it, you just cooked all the nutrients out of it.
Well, the enzymes are dead. Gone.
Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
Dead food. And that's fine. You're still getting a little bit of nutrient, but you're not getting the original enzyme. So if you're not getting the enzymes, you're not getting your full production, then again, there you go. And people say, well, geez, if you look at cauliflower and you look at the vitamin content in cauliflower, it's amazing. It is like a superfood. Yeah.
But as soon as you cook it, it loses a lot of its luster.
That's 100% correct. All right, my friend. Go ahead. One final comment, real quick.
Well, just tell the people if they want to get some good stuff, getthetea.com.
There you go.
Getthetea.com.
All right. Okay, my man. You take care. Talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Good night. Ronnie Mcmullen, and that's our two. Back in a few with Yoshi, and we'll talk about what's happening to your world. Do pay attention to Bob Nichols, your radiation week. Just horrible what's going on all around the country. There's nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide. The only place I really wouldn't want to be, the worst place, is probably right along the West Coast. I wouldn't want to be there in that marine layer. Fortunately, I'm not. But that's not to say that you're necessarily a whole lot safer in Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, anywhere, Idaho. Wow. Check it out. It's up there at the top of headlines. Look for Bob Nichols, your radiation week. And we'll be back in a couple minutes.